So it's just ridiculous. It's lower than before we had inflation. Like, it's lower than pre-pandemic. It's just doesn't make any sense. They say it's the weather. So stupid. The weather doesn't justify a drop of 80%. How long do you think I'll have to hold? Oh, you nat gas too. So look, I never planned to hold natural gas. I just wanted to swing trade natural gas for the winter because of winter demand, and I didn't know the manipulation is so sick. So I'm forced to, average down and hold. I'm thinking, so February is seasonally the lowest for natural gas, seasonally speaking. The lowest point for natural gas is February. So in a sense, you're right there. But summer demand is incredibly strong. Gas pipelines blowing up. Freeport is getting ready for summer demand. China is buying all the commodities in the world. In fact, China is the biggest commodity importer. The biggest energy importer in the world is China. There's just so much. Like I talk about it in my newsletter. Actually, on my newsletter from yesterday, I just pointed out some facts. Okay, here we go. So some headlines for you, okay, from my newsletter. India predicted a 500% increase in domestic natural gas demand for this year. Iran faces gas shortages despite vast reserves because it's super cold in Iran. Diesel prices fall in Europe despite ban on Russian fuel. And Russian natural gas bans went into effect in Europe, and now oil too on February 5th, so just a few days ago. And those are just a few points I stated. And what did energy do? I'm saying it stayed flat based on these news, lol. Also, the sell-off after the bull market celebration from last week has begun. Positive job numbers came out and were interpreted as a signal that the Fed will raise rates further to finish the job. It's so dumb and retarded, what can I say? I've got 70k in UNG at average 12.5 a share. Is that... Oh, UNG, okay. Like, look, I don't even look at the futures price. I just look at the actual oil price. Let me just check UNG. It should be at 6 or 8 right now, right? UNG future stock. Hang on, I'm just looking it up. Oh, it's at 8.381. Okay, 8.3. Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's normal. I'm not there. I'm not at 12. So I have two positions, right? I have a European account and I have a Canadian/American account. So my Canadian/American account is, I think, at $9 or something. I averaged down to 9. And my German account is actually at 2. It is actually right there at 8.4 or something. 8.3, 0.4, right there. So yeah, but you just have to wait. So my guess is summer. You average down to, yeah, but you can only average down so long, right? Me too. I had to. I had no chance. I never wanted to hold. Like, my medium term is oil, right? And my long term is just broad commodities like industrial metals and like energy, like oil, right? I have two in my core position. But look, you're good, man. 70k, you are at 12.5. Like, let's see. What's the last height? Okay, let's see, hang on. 30. Dude, like, I'm sure it's gonna go to 22. Not in the spring. I don't think so. Like, look, it depends how long they do these shenanigans, right? But they can't do it forever, right? Price controls always lead to shortages. Always. You know? So you can fuck with prices now, and, you know, as long as the government doesn't pay those... Like, look, no matter what happens, like, we're good, okay? Look, I tell you why. Okay, look, so prices don't just exist in a vacuum. Prices are a function of supply and demand. I don't have to explain that to you, you know. But price is also a signal. So demand, like what comes first, supply or demand? Supply comes first. Supply creates demand. So if the price is too low, there's no incentive to produce, which cuts supply. So if they artificially lower natural gas prices like they did with Goldman Sachs was caught manipulating precious metal markets a few years ago. They were caught manipulating gold prices. And they got a very small fine, right? So I tell you what happened there. They got a call from Big Daddy, Gov, and said, hey, you know how to do this, right? Yes, we do. All right, you do that. And if you don't, we fuck with you. So they did. So the same is happening with natural gas right now. There's no other explanation. I also have, I don't have, like, you know, like, oh, where's your proof? Like, where's it? Like, those things happen under the table. There is no proof. But it's the same as the gas pipelines, the Nord Stream pipelines were blown up by the US and Britain. Like, of course, who else? So, you know, so they do that with natural gas. But fucking with prices, you can only do so long. When producers stop to produce, there's already small producers that are stopped producing and renewing contracts. So what will happen is when aggregate demand comes in the summer demand for gas is actually higher than for winter. You need more natural gas in the summer than in the winter. There's not going to be any natural gas. Supply is cut. When supply is down, demand goes up, price goes up. Because you're going to have massive shortages. Like everyone here in Europe, they're so dumb. They're celebrating like, oh, what are you guys panicking about? We have full gas storages. That's the same as like, that argument doesn't make any sense. You idiot. Like if you are let's say you have a property with trees and you cut wood. All right. So for the winter, you need about, let's say 10 kilos or 10 pounds of wood, okay? 10 kilos of wood, all right? 10 units of wood, approximately. If the winter is mild, you might use 8. If the winter is harsh, you might use 12, but on average, you need about 10. Now you filled up your gas storages to 10 or 11, and you had a mild winter, and you only used 7 kilos or 8 kilos of wood. And now you're celebrating, yeah, man, yeah. But what they don't tell you is that you could only cut 5 kilo of that wood from your own property because you're out of trees. So you needed to get the rest from your neighbor, or you had to buy more property, or you had to do something to increase your supply for wood for the future. But you don't. You actively actually destroy it. Because you want to save the planet or something. So your neighbor gave you the remaining, like you got 5 from your own property, you got the remaining from your neighbor. And now you say, fuck you. To your neighbor too. Oh, we don't want yours too. You are evil. Okay. Haha, celebration. We got full wood storage. Yeah. We're filled with gas. There's no problem. Look, I read you my market update from today. Look, so here we go. Europe has been celebrating the mild weather and record high levels of natural gas in storage. Well, even with this record gas in storage and much lower prices, Europeans are being told they need to continue saving gas until at least next winter. At least. European gas demand needs to remain 13% lower than the 5-year average if the European Union wants to meet its storage goals. Because at current demand levels, Europe would need to attract 30% of global LNG markets to make it safely to spring 2024. Let me repeat. Europe would need to attract, according to their own estimates, 30% of global LNG markets to make it safely to spring 2024. Yeah, I give you a minute to think about that. You know who's making all the contracts for LNG? China. Asia. We don't. We just banned oil. We banned gas. But our storages are full. What are you talking about? Everything is fine, our storages are full. Anyways, I hope to see 20. I agree, we're good, only can keep down for so long. Yeah, and then just wait, you know. Is Bitcoin going to go up? No. What the fuck? What are you talking about? That logic doesn't make sense. What logic? Is Dogecoin and Bitcoin going up? What are you asking me about crypto? You're the crypto expert, not me. How many more rate hikes? Thanks. Well, Powell said the terminal rate's going to be 5%. You heard it from me first, though. I talked about it before you heard it from the Fed. I said that rates from 4 to 5-ish% are the limit. Servicing the debt will simply be too expensive. Is Bitcoin going to go up? Dude, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin. You buy all the Bitcoin. Crypto's the future, right? So you buy all the Bitcoin you want. Crypto and stocks are the same. They're not the same. They're not the same. So are they going to rally at the same rate? No. Call me crazy, but I think a crash in summer leaning towards June. Like, that's the thing, right? So I had these people, they're telling me, you know, they're arguing with me in my comment section. Oh, we're in a recession right now. Like, just 3 days before that bull market rally, right? I had people arguing with me about that we're in a recession in the US right now. Right now we're in a recession. I'm like, no, we're not in a recession right now. So look, I don't know. There could be a crash in summer, right? However, they prepared everything in the background after 2008. So, mortgage-backed securities, right? That just lost all their value were the reason for the 2008 housing collapse, right? Well, now they set up all the repo facilities where the banks have unlimited liquidity. They don't need to increase. Like, what does a bank account get you? Like 2% maybe, if it's a money market account, right? According to Shadow Stats, I show that also on my newsletter. The actual inflation rate is double the CPI. Double. So it's like around 10%. So the incentive to bring inflation down, you have to incentivize saving over spending. But a 2% rate with 10% inflation incentivizes spending, right? So the crash is not going to come from there, okay? The only threat I can see... Oh, also the bailouts. What happened to bailouts? They're just going to bail markets out, right? They did. They already did. They did before the markets even crashed. What do you think Credit Suisse was all about? Deutsche Bank, what do you think all that shit was about? Did they bail them out with credit lines? Look, again, like with, again, oh, where's your proof? Yeah. Like, you really should read my newsletter. I talk about this stuff a lot. So the only threat... Oh, also, the government is talking, we're going to be hawkish. Like, Powell was hawkish today or yesterday. I don't even know when he spoke. He was a bit more hawkish that he didn't dismiss further rate hikes because the job numbers are just too good, and it's just like the roaring 50s out there, right? Just look out the window. It's just like in the roaring 50s, man. Exactly. Those job numbers are totally not cooked. But look, that's the reason for that is they can't afford a recession right now. Not while they are in an economic war with Russia. That's the reason. So we have two reasons. They want you to think, they want you to think they're fighting inflation, which they haven't. The Fed has not even started fighting inflation, because you need rates to be above the inflation rate to start fighting inflation, like Paul Walker did in the 70s. So they need you to think they're fighting inflation, and they do so by making inflation look like it's going down with the base effect, which is basically just the nature of how CPI is measured year over year. So if you compare a non-inflationary year to an inflationary year, the CPI is going to be high, right? That's why 2020 was low inflation, 2021 was a high inflation year. So it looked like, oh shit, lots of inflation, and 2022 even more. But now you have 2022 where you had relatively high inflation compared to 2023 where you also have high inflation, but the difference between them is smaller. Therefore, because you measure CPI year over year, if you put them next to each other, it looks like the CPI is going to go down. However, inflation really increased after the summer. So this low CPI is going to be like this until July. So they need you to think that until July, everything is fine. And they also have to prevent a recession. So they set up everything for... Also, when the market crashes, they lose a lot of their revenue. Like, right? If they lose, like, let's say a third of their income, while desperately trying to convince you to buy bonds, they don't want a market crash right now either. So look, US is not in good shape economically. We're heading towards a recession, not because of increased rates. We're heading towards a recession, which is a bit different, that actually nobody alive right now has experienced with. It has experienced, just very few people are experiencing this. It is called stagflation. So we're heading into recession because of inflation. So we're going to have a stagflation. We're going to have an inflationary recession. It's like the worst of both worlds. But the Fed, the government, they can't admit that. With an economic war with Russia, they are doing QE. They're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, while at the same time they're fighting inflation. That doesn't make sense. You can't stimulate and send billions of dollars on one hand, and then try to fight inflation on the other. So that's the situation. So rates are gonna go up to 5%, I think, and then they're gonna stop. They will stop for a while before the Fed, I don't know, pivots, I guess. But why would they pivot, right? I don't think so. they have to wait what will happen in the summer with the CPI coming in before they make a decision. So, job reports can induce more hikes. Yeah, but job reports are fake. Bro, shitcoin to the moon. Yeah, exactly. Dogecoin is going to bring everyone a 5,000% return. Okay. Paul Walker is from Fast and the Furious. Paul Volcker with V, not W. Bro is an NPC. No, I don't know. What happens when CPI goes up? Well, then the inflation goes up, right? Like the NPCs don't know how inflation works. So they're going to think that inflation will go up. And then that's the thing. What will happen then, right? So let's say they paused rates and then the CPI goes up again. Next week, the CPI is going to come out. It's probably going to be lower. That's also the reason why they manipulate energy, right? Because if you know that chart, inflation expectation, that's what the Fed cares about. It's also in my premium, on my premium Discord. You guys should really check it out. That would be like the ultimate support from you guys. But if you go to my premium newsletter, premium server on Discord, there's a chart called inflation expectation. And how it works is basically they just go around, ask people what they think about the inflation. And people answer based on oil prices. So if gasoline prices are high, they're afraid of inflation. If gasoline prices are low, they don't fear inflation anymore. Because they're NPCs, they don't know how anything works, right? And I guess you can see gas prices, they're very, you can see them everywhere. You fill up your gas every day, so... so gas prices are super low now. Congrats, good job. And inflation is going down, right? There you go, there you go. What was the last CPI? 0.5% up? That's 0.5% up on top of the 9% or 7%, 7.3% inflation that we had last year, and on top of the inflation we had the year before. This inflation is not This inflation is not deflation. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, right? The good times are back. Should I invest into Bitcoin? Yeah, you sure should. We can avoid spending billions just by cutting ties with Ukraine. They're not going to cut ties with Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is an existential war for both superpowers, the US and Russia. So, for Russia, sure, right? Okay, they're gonna put nuclear missiles. They're gonna put missiles with nuclear capabilities right at the border of Russia, right? Russia doesn't want that, obviously, right? But but Putin just invaded because he's a crazy man. He's crazy, right? That's the reason, right? Obviously, right? There's no rational explanation for that, right? Anyways, let's not talk about that. Why is it an existential matter for the US? You might ask. Well, if the US loses in Ukraine, that will be the first time in the US after World War II, the first time in US history that the US lost a war. Or the first time in its history. That will be the first time that the US actually lost a war. The world is going to lose respect for the entire US. The US will reveal itself as the paper tiger it is. And China's not stupid. China knows it's ultimately about them. While Russia is busy with Ukraine, because Ukraine's now the new Afghanistan, when the US goes eventually into conflict with China, Russia cannot come to the aid of China. It's a power game. So you might ask me now, but how about Vietnam? And well, the US didn't really lose in Vietnam. They just kind of left. Same thing with Afghanistan. The Taliban on their best day, in the best shape, were never a threat to the US. There you go. And China, yep. We can avoid spending billions. Okay, USA is not even fighting Russia directly. Lol. Jesus Christ. Do you really want me to answer this? Did I say that? Like, you, like you really, like, it's just the same thing, man, with these people in my comment section, like, including you. Like, you don't know shit about shit. Like, it's just ridiculous. Look, I don't, look, if you don't know something, you know, that's fine, you know. You can ask, you know, like, hey, but the US isn't fighting Russia directly, you know, you can ask. But what, yeah, really pisses me off is when you're stupid and you schmuck about it. Lol, they're not even fighting. What are you talking about? That's, why you're the one who doesn't know anything? Why you don't even understand what I'm talking about? I can tell based on your comment. So, anyways. Is fighting Russia. Without USA, war would have been over within a month of starting. No. Every empire is gonna fall. Just taking time to destroy itself financially, materially, socially. Yeah. And you know, every empire that fell did not go quietly. That's like the other thing, right? Purakishi is saying they aren't even involved in the matter, just providing human needs and weapons for self-defense. Purakishi, can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? Okay, so Iran and Israel really hate each other, right? What if Russia just gave Iran 100 nukes? They just gave Iran 100 nukes. Would you say, oh, Russia is not involved in the war in Iran's matters? They're just providing them with weapons, right? Just like you said. Yeah, that's how stupid you sound when you say that. Let's talk more about the economy. Yeah, exactly. A few prices will go up, yeah. And crypto, we are still far from the... from T. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, after the CPI will be released, there's going to be another bull run again, you know, like a short bull run, I think, you know. So, no attack was taken on US soil or NATO territories for US to be involved in the war. Of course not, because that would be World War III. We wouldn't be sitting here talking now. We would be fucking nuclear waste now. Do you know what a proxy war is? Do you know what a proxy war is? Do you know what has been happening since you are alive? In our lifetime in the Middle East, putting puppets into places, like exchanging entire regimes with puppet regimes from both sides. I'm not saying Russia is a good guy. Both have puppets. Like, you know, like, it's just, you just don't get it. Like, no, our concerns because it imposes a threat to Israel, not us. Not our concern because it poses a threat to Israel, not us. Okay, great. I'm sure NATO and Europe, they're gonna react exactly like this. Like if Russia today gave Israel nuclear warheads, they would exactly say what you just said. They would say, not our concern because it imposes a threat to Israel, not us. Yeah, that's exactly what they would say. Bull market. When is the CPI released? On the 14th, next Wednesday. I mean, Ukraine issue should be resolved on its own. Yeah, you don't say. You don't say, really? Yeah, right? Doing regime change, putting your own people, your president's son and your leaders' kids into powerful positions, into the biggest energy companies there, changing the entire regime with your puppet regime, sending weapons and billions of dollars. Yeah, that's totally resolving it on its own. The US shouldn't pump Ukraine with billions of tax dollars. That's right. That's correct. But they do. The only gain Russia will get from conquering Ukraine is more landmass. Russia is not conquering Ukraine. Anyways, look, let's not talk about this, okay? I want to keep my channel. Let's not talk about this. Ukraine contributes almost nothing to the world, so I don't know why they don't give up. Yeah, I just told you. I just told you why. And you said, let me go back. You said US is not even fighting Russia directly, lol. That's what you said. Anyways, guys, come on. Let's just talk about something else. Or let's talk about it on Discord or something. But not on here. Do you think stock market is going down further? Yeah, of course. Like the stock market, you mean like... So you always need a baseline, okay, for yourself. So I use the S&P 500. When I talk about the stock market, I actually mean the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 is mostly compiled of tech. So yeah, it's still gonna come down. What are your thoughts on natural gas? Oh man, I just talked about it, man. Well, natural gas is at its lowest point since like even pre-pandemic levels, pre-inflation levels. So I just bought more. Like I can only tell you what I do. I bet you're just a 13-year-old kid. Where are you from? Oh man, I'm from Germany. When do we expect the crypto and stock market to be bearish again? Like right now? Crypto and stock market have been bearish for the last 8 months. Haven't you heard? We're in a big recession. Buy bonds and hold cash, right? Haven't you heard? And then suddenly, oh, we're not in a recession anymore. Last week, yeah, because inflation is gone, right? Like, which one is it, guys? Also, don't ask me about crypto. I told you guys, it's the same. It's a repeat of 2021. It's a repeat. In November 2021, I told you guys, hey, this is the last crypto bull run. Get out of Bitcoin. I told you guys, Bitcoin was at it peaked, and I got over 1,000 comments from you guys, not you personally, but from my viewers, from trolls, laughing, calling me a boomer, calling me a clown. I don't know nothing. I don't understand the blockchain. You just don't understand the technology. And what happened? What happened to Bitcoin? I actually sold out of all my tech stocks. I had Tesla. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I actually don't hate tech. I just tell you what reality is. And I tell you what I do and how, like, my interpretation of reality. And you know that higher interest rates and high inflation does hurt the tech sector the most. And crypto is a super highly speculative tech asset, if you want to put it in a category. Do we have cheap rates? Do we have low inflation to benefit tech? Or do we have high rates and high inflation? And people just think, because the CPI is going to come out next week showing that inflation went down, people just think that inflation goes down. And that's why they invest into tech and crypto. I sold out. I was an owner of Tesla stock, which I sold at the peak. I sold at 858 or something like that. It sold at the peak in December 2021. I sold out. And what did I buy? I bought energy stock, which I also sold. And since July last year, since 8 months, we are in this big recession because we had 2 months of no growth of GDP, which is officially a recession technically, right? So sell everything, including commodities. So here I am, just quietly telling you the news, trying to get you on my premium newsletter. I'm writing my newsletter every day. I think all of you should read it. I made it a free trial. So when you join, it's actually for free. You can actually join for free. You can join premium on Discord for free. It's a 1-day trial. And you can just cancel. You can look at it, you're like, oh, it's not for me. And you can just cancel. So, yeah. Here I am just buying low. And I will sell high. I will sell very high. So, now it's rallying again. Gold and silver might be an option now. Yeah, those are also commodities, right? I'm talking about the lows as in from June. Okay. It's a false rally. That is, yeah, it is. Do you hold any crypto now or sold out? I'm pretty sure Porakishi just bought crypto. Because, like, man, I don't want to shit on you too much, but people like Porakishi, they buy momentum. They chase momentum, right? They chase momentum. They buy when prices go up. And then they want to sell higher when prices are higher. So, no, it works sometimes, but it doesn't work for most. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it. I still have to work out. I didn't feel too well in the past week or so. I'm very tired. I work a lot. Like, I mean, I'm not saying this so, you know, you're like, oh, you work so much. Like, no, I'm just saying, like, I just work a lot, man. So I'm writing my newsletter in the morning, usually in the morning before my work. I also have a day job. Like, I'm self-employed, but, you know, I have my contractors. But most of the time, I just write it during work, right? I try to. But I really want to make this my full-time job. So right now I have 200 people on my Discord. but they are free members. So if all 200, like I mean, yeah, 200 is a bit low, but let's say 250. If 250 of my dearest fans joined premium, I would just quit my day job, yeah, and just do this full time, and I could do so much more. There's like a lot of features, but they cost monthly, right? So like I currently can't cover those expenses, but yeah, I can do it with your help. So and the first day is for free, so just check it out, huh? But we need a day job to pay for that premium. Yeah, you yeah, okay, yeah, you do, but I'm telling you about, look, if you value it, like this is what I'm saying, okay? It is about you ultimately. It's not about you quitting your day job. Then you can write a premium newsletter then, right? But if you can try, you can check it out, you can get the free trial, and if it benefits you, if you say, hey, it's worth it to get a daily newsletter, to read the academy, you know, then you can stick around. What benefits from premium for us? Okay, let me tell you. So when you go to my Discord, go on the top of the page. I actually list the benefits. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so you get the premium newsletter, right? So you get my Goldi Market Updates every day during the week. I'm giving you the news info, tips, and discussion fueled on premium chat. You get the premium line chat. So it's a hidden chat that only premium members have. Only lines use this chat to discuss the newsletter, share charts, and learn from experienced traders and members who are from the industry. We will help you at any step to become the best version of yourself, both emotionally and financially, because it takes time, right? You get the Lion's Den server, which is a special server where you have access to Goldi's sector rotation guide, the Goldi indicator to see for yourself where we are in the cycle, and all resources and charts we use to get our economic data. And you have access to the Intel server, where you can share sources that could affect fundamentals and the market to prepare for us for what's coming. So that's also where I share my sources too. How many members are currently in my premium? 25, I think. 25 or 24. 24, I think. 24, 25. Not many. Let's see. 9 are online, 30. Yeah, 22. 22 actually. But then there's also people there that are only on my Patreon. Because I write my blog, I initially wrote my blog on Patreon, and then I switched to Discord. But now I write my blog on Patreon and Discord, so I mirror both. When is your next live chat? Like this one right now? Like this one right now? So every Wednesday I go live. Usually around 6. This time it was a bit later. Central European time. Yeah. I also have a hangout, the line hangout. Also, those live streams you see, that's also a benefit that I didn't say. I put them on YouTube, so you can rewatch it. So the premium members can rewatch it. And a week later, I make it available for everyone else. Just to create a little bit more value for you guys. Where are you, if you don't mind? Oh, I'm from Germany. In terms of USA versus China tech, is the America's strength to face China? That's why tech is holding. I don't know about that. I don't know how those are related. Do you hold any crypto now or sold out? You asked Porakishi. Okay. Thanks for all your efforts. Yeah, so like, look, I'm not saying, oh, I have so much effort, but people who joined, like a lot of those guys, they came from my Patreon. Like once people join, there's just a very few people who will leave, but the ones who stay, they're like very successful people. Like you should really talk to like Media Man, Yorkshire, talk to Tiscali. Like they're all guys that it's a certain breed of person that you can see a difference between the free chat and the premium chat, like what people talk about. It's very interesting. So yeah, go check it out. You can check it out for free. You don't lose anything, right? And then read how to get started and check out the academy. And in the academy, you will be up to date. How to find sector rotation. So I have a whole sector rotation guide. This might be a bit confusing, but I tell you, okay? So if you go to the link in my bio, I actually sell my sector rotation guide. It's 4 lessons, and it's from 0 to 100 sector rotation. And it's designed in a way, once you have that, now you just have to experience it. And you can put it into practice with premium. However, lesson 2 of my sector rotation guide, which explains the cycle, is also available on premium on Discord. So it's also like if you go to the Lion's Den and you go to sector rotation easy, you can see sector rotation easy. It's a PDF file that you can download, and it's a mini guide. It's basically lesson 2 of the sector rotation guide. That's the link in my bio. Yeah, I just didn't make the whole guide available because it's just too much. I don't know. It just hurts. You know, like, is it worth nothing, right? You know, like I already give out everything for free. Because of the free trial, you get access to a lot of things that you can just download and stuff. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. All right, so I'm gonna upload this video on YouTube. If it doesn't get taken down by Susie, maybe I cut out some parts. But yeah, anyways, I wish you guys a wonderful day if you are from North America. I wish you a wonderful night if you're from Europe. But I gotta go. Thank you for everything. Like, you say thank you, but I really thank you, because without you guys, like, I couldn't do this, right? Thanks for watching and liking my videos, watching my videos, and please share my videos. If you just share it with one, like, that's how it goes up in the algorithm. It's a big thing. If you actually share my video, that's like extra points in the algorithm, so my videos are shown to more people that will know. The sweet Susie just joined. I was just talking about Susan from YouTube. Well, anyways, all right. Take care, everyone.